Right now, we're telling you why a special session ended in seconds at the state capitol and how lawmakers are responding. And we're hearing from a family member of those killed in the Mexico massacre earlier this week as he lays his loved ones to rest.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's Friday, November 8th. I'm Keely Arthur, in with meteorologist Chris Reese, looking like a regular weekend show.
I know. Welcome to the end of the work week.
Love it. We're celebrating here.
Yeah.
And bundling up for now.
Yes, I think we deserve it to celebrate the fact that it's the weekend. You've made it through this week. We had snowstorms.
Oh my gosh.
And 2 rounds of snow at one point. Cold. That has been in record territory at that. We are waking up in the single digits this morning. 9 in Madison right now. Watertown at 8. Janesville, you guys are at 12 degrees. On the bright side, it's beautiful out there. We're starting to see the sunrise. The temperature in Madison right around 9. The wind is calm. That is working in our favor. Otherwise, that wind chill would be a lot less out there in terms of temperature. High resolution Doppler free of any kind of snowfall, so that is certainly some good news. I think we're going to stay dry as we go throughout the day. We'll see some sunshine earlier on. That'll help those temperatures warm up from 9 to 24 by lunchtime, but the clouds will start to gradually sneak in as we move towards this afternoon. We'll see those highs right around 29 degrees. Given that we're staying dry today, I think that sunshine and the dry weather should really help for a perfect commute for a lot of folks. You'll want the sunglasses and watch out for some icy patches on those side streets and neighborhood streets, but things should be good for us. And speaking of that commute, we are of course watching traffic for you. This is the Beltline at Park Street. We're seeing a couple more cars out there, but things are overall smooth. A couple delays starting to show up on those main routes, but for the most part, that commute is going well for us this morning. It is Friday. Hopefully we keep it that way. We'll be watching that throughout the show.
And some maybe good news for people ahead in the show. You're going to break down the weekend. Looks a little warmer.
Yeah, the weekend will be just a little bit warmer for us.
I will take it.
Just
All
enough.
right. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
The State Assembly and Senate aren't considering gun control measures following a special session that only lasted a few seconds. Governor Tony Evers ordered the special session with the goal of passing legislation to implement universal background checks on gun sales and a red flag law to allow a judge to temporarily take guns from someone who poses a threat. But the special session didn't go as planned. Not only was there no discussion, but Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald was the only one to attend, opening and closing it almost immediately. He says the measures violate the Second Amendment and don't address gun violence.
There are many other things that play into that, including mental illness. And that's something certainly I think, you know, is if we could come up with a solution to the issues related to gun violence or these mass shootings, then I think we, you know, not only the Wisconsin legislature, but every legislature would be calling themselves into session to fix this.
We could focus on locking up criminals. We could focus on locking up the people who already fail an existing background check and we don't prosecute them. I mean, there are a lot of things that we could focus on that would bring us together instead of just driving us apart.
House Speaker Robin Vos says he knew the measures wouldn't pass, which is why he didn't feel the need to discuss them in the special session. There were a series of bills related to suicide prevention in that assembly discussed. However, Democratic representatives mentioned how gun control was even a part of that. Governor Evers released a statement saying Republicans essentially just told 80% of Wisconsinites and a majority of gun owners go jump in a lake because they don't have the courage to take a vote. Staying at the Capitol, Democrats are refusing to side with Republicans to rebuff Governor Evers as all 3 veto override attempts in the assembly failed. The votes marked the first override attempts in the Wisconsin legislature in 9 years. The last successful override was in 1985. Governor Evers is choosing another agriculture secretary. The current Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection Deputy Secretary Randy Romansky will replace the governor's original pick, Brad Pfaff. Pfaff's confirmation was rejected earlier this week after he criticized the state budget committee for not releasing money in July for mental health assistance to go to farmers. Friends and family members of the 9 Americans killed in an ambush in Mexico continue to mourn as they lay their loved ones to rest. Donna Ray Langford and her 2 sons, Trevor and Rogan, were laid to rest yesterday. The 3 coffins were loaded into a pickup truck and taken to their shared grave where they would be buried just as they died together.
We're still trying to understand and figure it out, but definitely it's undescribable what it is to lose 3 mothers and 6 children in such tragic loss, violence.
Langford and 2 other women, as well as 6 children, were killed in an ambush on Monday that is believed to have been carried out by local drug cartels who are fighting over valued drug routes in that area into the United States. Another ceremony will be held later today for other victims of the same ambush. The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the pedestrian killed in Monday night's fatal crash. She is 35-year-old Susan Johnson of Madison. Johnson was found dead at the scene near Highway 12 and 18 and Mill Pond Road. The driver, accused of hitting her, Sean Jones, was released on a $500 signature bond on Wednesday. The investigation is ongoing. An update to breaking news we've been following overnight. A fire in rural Columbia County is now out after crews worked to contain it for about 4 hours. It started just before midnight inside a corn dryer in Hampton, just southeast of Poynette. 8 different departments were called to help. The fire was contained just after 4 this morning. No injuries to report. A new affordable housing development funding is being approved. It'll be the first affordable housing for Cottage Grove, which has the highest median rate in Dane County. The Director of Planning and Development says housing data shows living in Cottage Grove may be less ideal for single households, seniors, and young adults.
There are families and, single people that, pay way too high of a percentage of their income or can't afford it all to be in housing. And these projects all include significant amounts of affordable housing.
Affordable housing projects were also approved in Madison, Mount Horeb, and Fitchburg. In total, the funding will provide 559 units of new housing, with 461 of those priced for people meeting income, age, or disability guidelines. The Salvation Army of Dane County is once again facing a volunteer shortage. More than 75% of posted shifts still aren't filled for the Red Kettle campaign, which starts today. Our Christina Laurie joins us with how your family can register to ring. Hi, Christina.
Keely, first it started looking like Christmas with that early season snowfall, and soon it's going to start sounding like it across Dane County. The Salvation Army's annual bell ringing campaign kicks off today, and as always, they cannot do it without your help. It's another year, another unfortunate shortage for the Salvation Army here in Dane County, with 80% of bell ringing shifts still not filled. Volunteers are needed to staff 2-hour shifts at 63 kettle stands countywide. There are both indoor and outdoor locations available if you're concerned about the cold on a morning like this. The Red Kettle campaign is the Salvation Army's biggest annual fundraiser, and the organization needs to raise more than $500,000 from now through Christmas Eve to fund the area's only single women's shelter, emergency family shelter, community center, and after-school programs.
We don't have a choice. We have to raise the money. It's not like we have a surplus of funds. So we're looking at a $600,000 goal this year.
Thank you so much. A volunteer shortage has unfortunately become common for the Salvation Army of Dane County. At this time last year, 75% of shifts still weren't filled. And last giving season, even with only 32% of shifts filled, by the end of the year, the Salvation Army was still able to raise $590,000. So imagine what they could do. They could staff just 10% more shifts. That's where you come in. Head to our website, channel3000.com, search register to ring to sign your family up for a 2-hour shift. Kids are invited to come out and ring too. It's fun to ring this bell. I can testify to that. And new this year, there is really no excuse not to give at any of these locations, because there's now Apple Pay, so you can just tap your phone, make a donation that way. No need to carry any cash or change. Keely.
All right, Christina, thank you so much. We appreciate it and know you're working hard to help them as well. Well, the Iowa County Sheriff is playing Santa this year, but not in the way you're probably thinking. There are 500 case numbers for people who have a warrant out for their arrest in Iowa County. The sheriff says if you show up in person to the county courthouse on November 27th, they'll get your name cleared as quickly as possible. When you get there, you'd go to the district attorney's office and they'll set up a court date so they can close your case. The sheriff says they're doing this not only to help clear their backlog of warrants, but also to make it possible for these people to spend the holidays with their families without having to worry about being arrested.
You know, we need you to come in and satisfy that warrant rather than letting that situation go into a time frame where you might be out doing some holiday shopping. All of a sudden you find out you've got a warrant that you haven't satisfied. We'd rather not have those situations happen to people.
Important to note, this deal does not apply to people who have a warrant out for felony charges or child support. Well, speaking of the holidays, this weekend, the first holiday movie of the season is opening up in theaters. Our film critic Will Loper is next to bring you a first look of Last Christmas. And it may be a perfect weekend to go to the theater. Some extreme cold in your forecast, bringing in some alert days for next week. Chris Reese is tracking it all. That's just ahead.
This portion.
We are watching the weather as we head through today and really into early next week as well. The big story is going to be the cold. We are in record territory this morning, but we did not break any records. We'll see a little bit of a brief weekend warm up, and then there will be more near record cold as we head into the start of next week. On the bright side, It is beautiful out there, but it is cold, 9 degrees. Thankfully, we have a calm wind, so that's keeping the wind chill in check. 2 in Wisconsin Dells right now, 6 in Lone Rock. Mineral Point coming in at 14. We go down towards Janesville and Beloit. You guys right at 12 degrees this morning, 13 for our friends in Monroe. Folks, here are those records that I talked about needing to be in check. Our record low was 7. Our forecast low 8. We may drop another degree. We're at 9 right now. Our record low high is 25. That's back from 1925. I think we'll warm up towards about 29 today. But the moral of the story, folks, grab the jacket. Nay, make it a coat as you head out the door this morning with those temperatures in the single digits, and then we'll gradually warm up through the teens by late morning, and then I think by lunch we'll start to see those temperatures into the 20s. But then we stay in the 20s for those highs into this afternoon as well. More good news though, high pressure is in control. That does mean that we are going to be keeping more of that sunshine around at least earlier on. You've got a stationary front back towards the west. That's going to be heading our direction as a warm front this weekend. But with the warm front, we are going to see a little bit more cloud cover. I think that'll try to sneak in as we move into this afternoon. In fact, let's go ahead and track that in for you. Temperatures will be near 13 by 8:30. Here we are at lunchtime now. Temperatures will be right around 25. And that's when you begin to see some cloud cover joining the picture. Pay attention to the winds, though. Out of the south. That's going to be important as we head into tonight. We'll see that high right around 29. Here we are at 4:30. Watch this. 9 o'clock. The temperature is 22, but those winds are still coming out of the south. That helps warm us up overnight. So now we're at 3 o'clock in the morning, and these temperatures are approaching 30, and we wake up tomorrow morning 1 degree below freezing with that temperature right at 31 degrees. In fact, we'll see a high of 41 degrees tomorrow. More cloud cover, and I can't rule out an isolated sprinkle or flurry, especially as you work your way over towards the north. So we will certainly be warmer for tomorrow, but the morning is still certainly going to be cold. Girls on the run in Wanakee tomorrow morning, you are going to want to bundle up for that. Those temperatures will be in the 20s, wind chills around 10 to 15 degrees, but the faster you run, the warmer things will certainly be. The weekend warm-up is brought to us not necessarily by retreating cold air, but it's ahead of a bigger shot of cold air that's going to be coming in for the start of next week. This is when we could see some of those temperatures well below average. We are talking 20s for those highs, struggling to get out of the teens. The good news is that same forecast period does have a lot of sunshine for us, at least somewhat. We'll see more clouds and a chance for some light snow on Monday, but we will certainly be staying drier. Let's throw it over to Jason Stone with your first alert traffic. Jason?
Nothing of concern on the Beltline as all lanes are moving at the posted speed limit. The routine congestion on Verona Road between the Beltline and Highway PD will increase throughout the morning. Otherwise, routes into Madison and around Dane County are mostly clear. Nothing of concern on, excuse me. So we head downtown. I lost my notes. Everything was good heading downtown. Roads are icy. Make sure that you drive slow. With your first alert forecast or traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you, Jason and Chris. Well, this...
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day...
Well, oh my goodness. Thank you, Chris and Jason. We appreciate it. Let's talk to Will about the movies. We're already getting into the holiday season.
It is. Yeah, I know. The Christmas music's on the radio. We got snow on the ground. Why don't we just throw movies into the mix?
Yes.
Get a Christmas movie out there. So this movie's going to get that song that we just heard last Christmas firmly stuck in our heads. Yes. Yeah, and let's hope that this one will, this year, save us from tears.
Hey, Elf! This is my little helper. I have nicknamed her Lazy the Elf because she appears never to work.
Father, early Christmas, get me out of here.
Emilia Clarke plays an unlucky Christmas store worker who keeps running into a far too cheerful man, and she begins to let love back into her life.
Oh, you! Again.
What do you mean again?
Did you follow me here?
Are elves always so cynical?
Yes, relentlessly. These are dark times.
I'm Tom.
Kate.
Last Christmas.
Here we are.
Is this the bit where you murder me?
So what is it that you do?
I sing.
Oh, it's amazing.
Anyway, boring, boring, boring.
I'm not bored.
You are so strange.
Last Christmas is rated PG-13.
Where are you going?
We're there.
Well, you're not homeless.
No, I volunteer here.
Why didn't you just get Satan tattooed on your forehead?
All right, well, we have some kind of theories of what happens in that movie.
I had no theories. You're coming up with all kinds of theories. I thought it was just a nice, you know, two people meeting, but apparently he's an angel or...
I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything. Maybe I'm right, so
If
maybe
you
I'm
are
wrong.
right, I will be floored because I haven't seen this
Well,
yet.
yeah, you'll find out this weekend. You'll have to report back to me. I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, thank you so much, Will.
Thanks, Keely.
Well, still ahead on News 3 Now this morning. We're less than a year away from the 2020 presidential election, and it seems like another candidate is throwing his hat in the ring. We'll tell you who is considering a run now. And some single-digit temperatures as you head to the bus stop this morning. Chris Reese is telling us when we're warming up again next.
Cobra's
Welcome back. Time right now, 6:23, and Chris, it's a chilly one out there.
It is very, very chilly out there. You know what? That sounds like something good to cook this weekend, now that I'm thinking about it. But it is cold, and the jacket is something that folks are going to want as you head out the door this morning. In fact, you might want to grab the thicker coat as well. A lot of those temperatures are into the single digits. 8 is our temperature right now. We'll see those temperatures gradually warm up, though. 16 by 9 a.m. By lunchtime, that's where we'll work into the 20s, and I do think we'll see that high right around 28 to 29. later on this afternoon or so. We're now at 9 in Madison, 1 in the Dells, 2 in Wautoma. Black River Falls now at 0 after spending a lot of their morning below 0. But the good news is we are not tracking any snow out there this morning. There's no rain expected today or this afternoon either. So as you drop your kids off at the bus stop, know that temperatures will be in the teens, but we'll be dry with some sunshine out there. 25 will be that lunchtime temperature. By the time those kiddos begin to head home, we'll see that temperature right around 28 degrees. But there's more cold air on the way, folks. We're talking a big time chill coming up towards the start of next week as well. We'll be breaking down the details on that in a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. We're following breaking news overnight as the U.S. Coast Guard says a cargo ship is spilling oil into the Honolulu harbor in Hawaii. The 433-foot container ship spilled oil yesterday during a fueling operation. No word on how much has spilled. It's owned by the U.S. shipping company Madison, Inc. Around 120 gallons of oil have been recovered so far. New this morning, Italy will be the world's first country to make it mandatory for children to study climate change and sustainable development in school. Reuters reports that starting next year, all state schools will dedicate 33 hours per year, or about 1 hour each week, to climate change issues. Other subjects like geography, math, and physics will also be studied from the perspective of sustainable development. And looking ahead to the 2020 presidential election, a new candidate could be putting in his name into the mix of Democratic candidates. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is expected to file paperwork to officially get on the Democratic primary ballot in Alabama. Bloomberg had originally said in March he would not be running for president. Former Attorney General Jeff Sessions is also up for election. He's officially going after his old Senate seat in Alabama, despite a warning from President Trump to sit the election out. Sessions had a falling out with the president while he was the Attorney General after recusing himself from the federal probe into Russian involvement in the presidential election. Still ahead, we've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before you head out the door. And our Christina Laurie is telling us how you can help out around the holidays this year. Stay with us. You're watching News 3 Now this morning.
In the mood. From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, I'm Keely Arthur. Thanks for staying with us. Chris Reese is over in our weather center tracking some more cold temperatures. Hi, Chris.
That's right, Keely. 3 things to know weather-wise is one, that we are in record territory with those temperatures this morning, but we will see a little bit of a brief warm up this weekend. Things will be breezy, but we'll stay on the cooler side. But then there's more near record cold on tap for next week. 9 is our temperature in Madison right now. 1 in the Dells. Black River Falls coming in at 0. Janesville at 12. Kenosha at 15. Milwaukee, the warm spot at 16 right now. And it is certainly a wintry look on our Edgewater sky camera. Thankfully, the wind is calm. That's keeping our wind chill pretty much in line with the temperature. If it were windy out there this morning, oof. I'm not sure I want to think about that one. Here we are with high-resolution Doppler. No snow on it this morning. We're going to be staying dry as we go through your day. Temperatures will warm up towards 24 by lunchtime. We'll see those highs right around 29 this afternoon. Some sunshine will be around early, but I do think that cloud cover will begin to sneak in. With us staying dry, your commute should stay all green. Be aware of some icy patches on those side streets and neighborhood streets earlier on, but most main routes are absolutely clear. In fact, here's a main route right now. This is the Beltline at Park Street. The cars all moving along very smoothly out there. We are not seeing any big delays this morning. A few brake lights showing up at the Stoughton Road and Beltline interchange, but other than that, things are going smoothly.
All right, thanks, Chris. On to the top 3 stories we're talking about this morning. We're following breaking news overnight. A fire in rural Columbia County is now out after crews worked to contain it for about 4 hours. It started just before midnight inside a corn dryer in Hampton, just southeast of Poynette. 8 different departments were called to help. The fire was contained just after 4 this morning. No injuries to report. The state Senate and Assembly aren't considering any gun control measures after Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald almost immediately opened and then closed a special session ordered by Governor Evers. Fitzgerald says the measure violated the Second Amendment, while Governor Evers says 80% of Wisconsinites are in favor of these measures. And friends and family members of the 9 Americans slain in an ambush continue to mourn as they lay their loved ones to rest. Donna Ray Langford and her 2 sons, Trevor and Rogan, were laid to rest yesterday. Langford and 2 other women, as well as 6 children, were killed in an ambush on Monday that is believed to have been carried out by local drug cartels who are fighting over valued drug routes in the area into the U.S.
It already looks like Christmas outside, so it might as well start sounding like it. Bell ringing season kicks off today, and unfortunately, once again, the Salvation Army of Dane County is facing a shortage. 80% of posted shifts still are not filled with that season kicking off today. So here's how you can help. Head to our website, channel3000.com, and you can register to ring. 2-hour shifts are available at more than 63 indoor and outdoor locations across the county. Kids are encouraged to participate as well. It's the season for giving back, and for every hour a volunteer spends ringing bells, the Salvation Army of Dane County collects an average of $60. Now that's enough money to pay for a woman to spend 3 nights in its shelter. The Salvation Army shelter is the only single women's shelter in the county, as well as the only emergency drop-in shelter for families. So what's great about the Red Kettle Drive is that all the money collected stays local.
If you go out and you give 1 hour or a 2-hour shift, you will not be disappointed. People will come to you. They will thank you for volunteering. They will tell you stories. The vast majority of people will say, yeah, I'll do 1 shift. And as soon as they come back, they sign up for another one.
Now, the Salvation Army of Dane County also runs after-school programs and a community center as well. They need to raise $600,000 this giving season, which starts today and runs through Christmas Eve in order to fund those programs. That's why they need your help volunteering. Again, sign up on our website. They also need your help collecting that money. And this year, there's really no reason not to donate. You don't have to carry any cash on hand. You just tap your phone, Apple Pay, is available this year, so you can't pass by these red kettles without chipping in a little bit. And there are also other ways you can volunteer your time. You can sign up to help serve at the Salvation Army's annual Thanksgiving and Christmas meals. You can adopt a family. They have that annual program, and we have links to all of this up on our website, channel3000.com. But I want to go bell ringing with you in particular, Keely. I think we could raise a lot of money together.
I think we could too. I'm up for that challenge. Thank you, Christina. Well, for many of us, the upcoming holiday season means sharing meals with family and friends. But in order to make that happen for those in need, food pantries in Rock County say they need your help. The Salvation Army of Janesville says it plans to feed around 500 people on Thanksgiving Day, in addition to the daily lunches it serves during the week. A volunteer coordinator said just months ago, donations were so limited, the pantry almost had to close temporarily.
Humble people that are coming in for simply a warm meal and a warm place for maybe an hour or an hour and a half. And to think that there's families and children that are out there in Rock County that aren't getting the groceries that they need to put food on their table.
The Salvation Army of Janesville says one of the biggest needs is turkeys. If you want to help, all donations can be dropped off right at the main doors of their location. 6:35, and coming up in the morning sprint, we're continuing to track breaking news overnight of an oil spill in Honolulu. And we'll show you how the UW men's basketball team is honoring Coach Howard Moore at the first home game of the season. Welcome back. We've been asking you to share your morning with us, and I picked out this picture because, my goodness, I wish I was there. This is from Patricia at the Wyndham Reef Resort. We looked it up. We think this is in the Cayman Islands. Thank you so much for sharing, Patricia. It does not look like that here.
Yeah,
Chris.
it doesn't. But that's absolutely beautiful. It really is.
And reminder, you can always share your morning with us. Just send it to our website or our Facebook. Well, it may be cold outside, but it's still a busy weekend here in the 608. Here's a few events we think are worth checking out this weekend. First up, hundreds of people are going to have to deal with cold temperatures as they run for more than 26 miles through Madison this weekend. The annual Madison Marathon starts on the Capitol Square at 7 Sunday morning. From there, the course will take runners through the Arboretum, UW campus, Warner Park, and back to the Capitol. If you're going to be driving, though, Madison police officers will be stationed throughout the course to help direct traffic. The last runner is expected to cross the finish line around 1:30 Sunday afternoon.
The Badgers basketball team has their first official game at the Kohl Center tonight, but before the game tips off, they'll take a moment to honor an assistant coach who's had a trying year. Coach Howard Moore is on medical leave after a tragic car accident earlier this year killed his wife and 9-year-old daughter. The Badgers are wearing a patch on their uniform this season to honor the family and have the phrase "do more, be more, for more" on their warm-up shirts. Tip-off against Eastern Illinois is set for 9 o'clock tonight, with the ceremony honoring Moore slated for 15 minutes before tip-off.
And speaking of the Badgers football team returns home this weekend. They'll be hoping to end a 2-game losing streak tomorrow against the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's a big game for both teams, with the winner still alive for a spot in the Big Ten championship, but the loser being left out of that race. The Badgers have won the last 3 meetings with Iowa. Kickoff is set for 3 in the afternoon.
And starting at 4 on Sunday, the 31st annual Holiday Fantasy and Lights blinks on for motorists to cruise through at Olin Park. The display will be turned on at 4 p.m. every day, and it runs through January 4th. I got to do that for the first time last year, and I saw what it was like to see Christmas lights and snow at the same time, and I'm pretty sure I almost cried just because I'd never seen that before.
Oh.
So yeah.
I forget, you're not from here.
No,
You're from
I am
the
a
South.
Southerner.
Well, it is so many great weekend events.
Yes.
But that's a good one to go to because you're going to be in the car.
It's in the car.
Yeah.
It will be cold this weekend, although warmer than we've been today. It will be still cold this weekend, but there's more cold coming. That'll be earlier next week. I'll have the latest on the record cold that will be sticking around for at least the first part of next week. Coming up in just a bit.
Over. But first, if you have a little kiddo turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can share their picture on TV and help them celebrate. We'll be right back.
Look who's
It is a beautiful morning as we start to watch the sunrise here in Madison. Of course, things are going to be cold for us as well. Let's get you started with just showing you what the Beltline at Park Street is like. Things are all clear right now, and I think that's going to bode well for us as we go throughout the day. Look for your commute to be all green pretty much throughout the morning, lunchtime, and the evening as well. You might encounter an icy spot on the side streets in the neighborhoods. Do be mindful of that. But for the most part, things should be smooth. But as you head out to your car, one of the things you'll want to do is give yourself enough time for a quick scrape. With those temperatures in the single digits overnight, a layer of frost has certainly formed. And speaking of the single digits, we have more of that in our forecast. In addition to the near record cold this morning, there's going to be more record cold coming up in the forecast. But this weekend, we will see at least a brief warm up before those colder temperatures come back for the start of the next work week. 9 is our temperature in Madison right now. Thankfully, the winds are calm, or else that wind chill would be a much different story out there. Other temperatures are also in the single digits for us. 2 in Watoma, same for the Dells. Juneau also at 2. Black River Falls at 0. But they cooled all the way down towards -9 earlier this morning. Janesville is coming in at 12 degrees, so you guys are some of the warmer ones as you work your way over towards Rock County. Monroe at 13 right now. But the good news is we are not tracking any snow out there this morning. That's why things are going to remain on the smoother side for us. High pressure is in control, folks. It's going to keep some of that sunshine around earlier on throughout the day. One of the things we're watching is a stationary front across the high plains. That will come our direction as a warm front, and I do believe it may bring just enough lift in the atmosphere to get some cloud cover later on this afternoon and evening. In fact, let's go ahead and time that out. You'll see that cloud cover moving in. By 8:30, those temperatures should be in the low teens for us. 25 by lunchtime, and then we'll see those temperatures warm up towards 29 for those highs. Here are those winds coming out of the south after that warm front moves on through. Get this, 9 o'clock. The temperature is 22. Watch what happens overnight. Those temperatures begin to warm up. 3 a.m. will be right around 28 degrees. We'll wake up tomorrow morning with those temperatures right around 31, and then we'll see those highs right around 41. So tomorrow itself will certainly be a warmer day. Tonight, that's a different story. If you're headed out towards high school football, wind chills will be in the they'll be in the teens, near 15. We'll see those increasing clouds, so you will want that coat. Actual air temperatures will be in the 20s. Then Badger football is tomorrow. Will be a bit warmer with temperatures around 41 at halftime, but still bring those jackets. Outside of that, temperatures will likely be in the 30s. Will be mostly cloudy for the Badger football game. Beyond Saturday, temperatures begin to slide back down. Sunday, we'll see a high of 34. Monday, a high of 22. Tuesday, we struggle to get out of the teens. We do have alert days for the cold Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but other than those 2 lighter snow chances, oddly enough, this forecast is a lot drier than what we've seen. At the moment, it does not look like we will see any big-time accumulating snows like we've seen in the past couple of weeks. And lastly, here's your pet walk. Ooh, I'm in there. Reese and Roscoe looking out the window. You know what? This is definitely my spirit animal. I wonder if they're looking at the weather.
They're snuggling inside, looking at the weather like Chris Reese does at his off hours.
So me.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, the morning sprint is up next on News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back at 6:51. Time we start the morning sprint as we get your day started. We begin with the state Senate Assembly, and they aren't considering any gun control measures after Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald almost immediately opened and then closed a special session ordered by Governor Evers. Fitzgerald says the measures violate the Second Amendment, while Governor Evers says 80% of Wisconsinites are in favor of these measures. And Democrats at the state capitol are refusing to side with Republicans to rebuff Governor Evers, as all three veto override attempts in the assembly failed. The votes marked the first override attempts in the Wisconsin legislature in 9 years. The last successful override was back in 1985. And Governor Evers is choosing another agriculture secretary. The current Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection Deputy Secretary, Randy Romanski. He will replace the governor's original pick, Brad Pfaff. Pfaff's confirmation was rejected earlier this week after he criticized the state budget committee for not releasing money in July for mental health assistance for farmers.
Get out the door this morning, one of the things you will want to make sure you grab is a coat. Those temperatures are into the single digits, but we will gradually warm up towards 29 for your high today. Yes, it will be another day below freezing, but will be dry. No snow is expected today, not across the upper Midwest and not for us here in southern Wisconsin. Plan your day with the sunshine early. Clouds will increase as we see that high right around 29.
Breaking overnight as the U.S. Coast Guard says a cargo ship is spilling oil into Honolulu Harbor in Hawaii. The 433-foot container ship spilled oil yesterday during a fueling operation. No word on how much has spilled. Around 120 gallons of oil, though, has been recovered so far. An update to breaking news we've been following overnight. A fire in rural Columbia County is now out after crews worked to contain it for about 4 hours. It started just before midnight inside a corn dryer in Hamden, that's just southeast of Poynette. 8 different departments were called to help. The fire was contained just after 4 this morning. No injuries to report. And the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the pedestrian killed in Monday night's fatal crash. She is 35-year-old Susan Johnson of Madison. Johnson was found dead at the scene near Highway 12 and 18 and Mill Pond Road. The driver accused of hitting her, Sean Jones, was released on a $500 signature bond on Wednesday. This investigation is ongoing.
We're still trying to understand and figure it out, but definitely it's undescribable what it is to lose 3 mothers and 6 children.
Friends and family members of the 9 Americans slain in an ambush in Mexico continue to mourn as they lay their loved ones to rest. Donna Ray Langford and her 2 sons, Trevor and Rogan, were laid to rest yesterday. Langford and 2 other women, as well as 6 children, were killed in an ambush on Monday that is believed to have been carried out by local drug cartels. And a new candidate could be putting his name into the already crowded field of Democratic candidates. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is expected to file paperwork to officially get on the Democratic primary ballot in Alabama ahead of today's filing deadline in that state. Bloomberg had originally said in March he would not be running for president. And former Attorney General Jeff Sessions is also up for election. He's officially going after his old Senate seat in Alabama, despite a warning from President Trump to sit this election out. Sessions had a falling out with the president while he was the Attorney General after recusing himself from the federal probe into Russia's involvement in the presidential election. And Italy will be the world's first country to make it mandatory for children to study climate change and sustainable development in schools. Reuters reports that starting next year, all state schools will dedicate 33 hours per year, or about 1 hour each week, to climate change issues. Other subjects like geography, math, and physics will also be studied from the perspective of sustainable development.
Another year, another shortage for the Salvation Army of Dane County, with more than 80% of bell ringing shifts still not filled and bell ringing season kicking off today. Here's how you can help. You can sign up to register to ring on our website, channel3000.com. Volunteers are needed for 2-hour shifts. There are 63 indoor and outdoor locations available if you're concerned about the cold. The Red Kettle campaign is the Salvation Army's biggest annual fundraiser. The organization needs to raise $600,000 today through Christmas Eve to fund the area's only single women's shelter, emergency family shelter, community center, and after-school programs too. Be sure to head to our website, channel3000.com, to volunteer your time.
Thanks, Christina. If you have a warrant out, the Iowa County Sheriff's Office is giving you an opportunity to have your name cleared as quickly as possible so you can spend your holidays without having to worry about being arrested. Go to the District Attorney's Office on November 27th, and they'll set up a court date so they can close your case. This deal does not, though, apply to people who have a warrant out for felony charges or child support. And it is 6:57. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your first alert traffic. Hi, Jason.
Hello. A disabled vehicle is blocking the right shoulder on the eastbound Beltline following Todd Drive. The westbound Beltline is tapping the brakes near Stoughton Road through Monona Drive. And no issues on John Nolan heading downtown. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you. And it is a chilly one out there too, Chris.
That is certainly the case. It is definitely chilly, but we'll be staying dry. That means your commute should look good today. Just be on the lookout for some icy patches on side streets. High school football does still continue tonight with the playoffs. Make sure that you have a jacket ready to go. Temperatures will be in the 20s. Wind chills will be near 15 degrees.
Bundle up, everybody. Thanks for watching, and you can hang out with Chris and I tomorrow morning. Have a great day.
At Slump